Well, the whole world knows that these guys were up to no good for many years, especially with Ukraine, $80,000 a month for Hunter. It's interesting, though, not many people on the left have been acknowledging the obvious. They ignore it, they look the other way, or they explain it away. Interesting that Jon Stewart, the notable liberal, said on a podcast today, what we know, what is so obvious, but when a liberal acknowledges it, well, it's interesting. Take a look.
Look, Hunter Biden being on the board of
Burisma.
To me, that's corruption straight up off the bat. But the idea that nepotism would allow much larger amounts of money to flow into the hands of people unqualified to be in the positions that they've been accepted because you think those countries are trying to buy influence. Yeah, welcome to the world. And I think it's a huge problem on its face. Forget about any secret laptop.
Well, Eric Eggers joins us, Vice President of Research, Government Accountability Institute, and co-host of the Drilled Down podcast. Look, you and I already know that, but I just was somewhat gratified to hear from Jon Stewart.
No, it's too bad Jon Stewart wasn't running like the New York Times back in the fall of 2020. It would be nice to have some level of acknowledgement then. And he's absolutely right. It is corrupt on its face. It was also corrupt, by the way, when they hired Hunter Biden not just to influence American policy, but to influence the vice president, who, by the way, was in charge of policy towards Ukraine at the time. Let's not forget, not only was it corrupt, but that's the topic that then President Trump was asking about, a conversation that actually led to his impeachment, an event liberals were so happy to celebrate. So it is nice, and I think, to use your word, gratifying, to see someone acknowledge at least a hint of the Biden family corruption that we've known about for a long time.
This Jackie Bao, Hunter Biden had a secretary who had apparently, ties to the Communist Party, a secretary to Hunter Biden. This is before Joe ran for president. Apparently, she's described as flirty, even with Joe, and was encouraging Joe to run. How significant is this? Who is she? Where does she come from? And what does it mean?
Wait a minute, Greg. Are you suggesting that Hunter Biden had ties to the Chinese Communist Party? No, of course, that's not news. We've known about that. He started those business relationships with the Chinese government.
No. I know. Look, and the trips with the father, but this, I did not know about. I did not know he had this secretary and that she may have had all kinds of connections. What about her?
Yeah, what about her? She's the latest in a long line. No, she has business connections to the Chinese intelligence apparatus. She was part of the business deal that saw upwards of $6 million flow towards the Biden family. It's part of a much larger and very troubling fact pattern. Of course, we know that the Biden family at large made $31 million in 5 deals with Chinese intelligence-linked officials. So the fact that she apparently has Hunter Biden's dog tag necklace, is sending him flirty messages. Hunter Biden has himself proven to be not exactly the most chaste man, with the most devout of taste when it comes to personal conduct. So I think it does not surprise me. It's just another layer of, I think, the manifestation of China's elite capture strategy, which they're very open about, and Hunter Biden appears to have been ensnared in. And I think when it comes to his secretary, potentially in a number of ways.
Elite capture, do business with the elites of your adversaries, win them over, and you own them, win them over, buy them. By the way, Joe Biden with the media. He is surrounded by the media. He doesn't take many questions, but the media, they see him every single day. And he is yet to be asked a question about the laptop or Tony Bobolinsky. Have you ever met Tony Bobolinsky? And just to remind everybody, here's Tony Bobolinsky.
I was introduced to Joe Biden by Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. At my approximately hour-long meeting with Joe that night, we discussed the Biden's history, the Biden's family business plans with the Chinese, with which he was plainly familiar, at least at a high level. On numerous occasions, it was made clear to me that Joe Biden's involvement was not to be mentioned in writing, but only face-to-face.
It's amazing. That's a credible person. He established himself with Joe Biden, and nobody will ask him. Are we ever going to get to the truth? Because let's face it, the U.S. attorney is kind of pussyfooting around with all this stuff.
Yeah, I think we will get to the truth, because let's not forget, to go back to your question about Jackie Bao, the reason why her name is prominent now is because members of the House Oversight Committee are demanding information about her from the FBI. And so I think the fact is that Tony Bobolinsky is an example of a former Hunter Biden business associate who's now trying to clear his name and expose Hunter Biden's wrongdoings. I don't think Tony Bobolinsky is the only person, when the Republicans take over the House and have law enforcement and subpoena power, that to find that they will be telling very honest tales about Hunter Biden and how involved Joe Biden was in that business affair.
Eric Eggers, we're getting close. Those investigations are going to be real for a change. Vice President of Research at the Government Accountability Institute. Check out his podcast, the Drill Down Podcast. Thanks a lot.
Greg, it's my pleasure. Great to be with you.
We'll be right back.